Good morning, students. Welcome to the class. Today, we are going to study a very, very important chapter from your history syllabus, the Age of Industrialization. So please pay close attention. We will see how our world changed so much, how it became full of factories and machines, and especially what this meant for our country, India. All right. So this is our plan for today's lesson. First, we'll understand the meaning of industrialization. Then, we will look at how things were made before the machines came. After that, we'll see how factories started in Britain. And then, the most important part for us, how this affected colonial India. And finally, we will summarize the key points for your examination. So, let us begin with our first topic. What exactly is this industrialization? Understanding this basic concept is the foundation for the entire chapter. If you understand this, the rest will be very easy. Now, look at the definition on your screen. It says it is a change from an agrarian and handicraft economy to one dominated by industry and machines. Okay, let me explain in simple words. It just means the world shifted from farming and making things by hand to a new world where things were made in big factories using large machines. It is a change from handmade to machine-made. Simple.
Yes, just think of it like this. I will give you one easy example. For many, many centuries, a weaver in a village would take many days to make one beautiful sari at home with his hands. That is a handicraft economy. Now, just imagine a big factory building full of noisy machines that can make thousands of saris in just one day. This huge change in how things are made, that is industrialization.
Now, students, you might think that making things on a large scale only started with factories, but that is not completely true. There was a very interesting time before the factories, a kind of early industrial age. Let's understand that. This phase is called Proto-industrialisation. Now, the word proto means early or first form of. So this means that even before factories existed, goods were being made on a large scale to be sold in other countries. But the main difference was, all this work was not done in one big building. It was done by families in their small homes in the countryside. So, what is the main difference between these two systems? Look here. In the proto-industrial system, production was decentralized, meaning it was spread out in many different homes. People used simple hand tools. But in the factory system, production was centralized, meaning everyone came to one place, the factory. And there, they used big, powerful machines to produce on a very large scale. So, the question is, why did this system change? What happened? Well, the answer is a big revolution that started in Britain. A revolution of machines that created the modern factory, and believe me, it changed the entire world. The change happened because of some amazing new inventions. First came the spinning jenny, which made spinning thread much, much faster. Then came the power loom, which did the same thing for weaving cloth. But the real game changer, the real hero of this story, was James Watt's improved steam engine. It provided the power, the energy to run all these huge machines together.
And this was the brilliant and revolutionary idea. Instead of keeping machines in different homes, they brought all the big, expensive machines and all the workers together under one single roof. This place was called a factory. And this was the birth of the modern factory system we see even today.
Now, students, please listen carefully. This revolution in Britain had a very big impact on the rest of the world. And because India was a British colony, it affected us very, very deeply. To understand this, we must look at the story of our textiles, our cloth industry. This part is very important for your examination. You must remember this point. Before the British Industrial Revolution, Indian textiles were famous all over the world. Our cotton and silk cloth was the best quality. Everybody, from Asia to Europe, wanted to buy Indian cloth. We were the #1 exporter. But then, look at this table. It shows a very sad story, a complete reversal. In the late 1700s, India was exporting a lot of textiles to Britain. But by the mid-1800s, just a few decades later, our exports became almost zero. And at the same time, cheap machine-made cloth from Britain started flooding the Indian market. The whole situation turned upside down. So what happened? India, which was famous for its beautiful finished cloth, was now just selling raw cotton to British factories. Think about it. We were exporting the raw material, and then we were forced to buy back the finished cloth made in their machines. This process, this destruction of our local industries is called deindustrialization. Kindly note this point. And behind these facts and figures, there is a very human tragedy. The skilled Indian weaver, who was an artist making beautiful cloth by hand, he could not compete with the very cheap prices of machine-made cloth from the mills in Manchester. What was the result? Millions of our local weavers and spinners all over India lost their jobs, their livelihood, because their market was gone.
Okay, so we have covered a lot today. We have seen a huge change in the world. So now let's quickly revise the main points that you must remember for your exams. Pay attention now.
So, these are the most important takeaways. First, industrialization is the shift from handmade goods to machine-made goods in factories. Second, before the factories, there was proto-industrialisation, which was home-based production. Third, Britain was the first country to have this big industrial revolution. Fourth, and this is very important for us, this British industrialization destroyed India's famous textile industry. And fifth, India's role changed. We became just a market to sell British goods and a supplier of raw materials for their factories.
I hope this is clear to everyone. Now, this history is not just in your textbooks. Its effects are still with us. So I will leave you with one final question to think about. How do these events from the past affect India's economy and our goals, like Make in India, even today? It is something very important for all of us to consider.
आज के बिजनेस वर्ल्ड में सिर्फ दिखना काफी नहीं, आपकी पहचान सुनाई भी देनी चाहिए। हर सर्विस की एक कहानी होती है, हर ब्रांड की एक आवाज होती है।
रविकांत आपके ब्रांड को देगा म्यूजिकल पहचान।
अपने ब्रांड को आवाज दो, हर दिल तक एहसास दो। हर ब्रांड बनता है विजन से, हर पहचान बनती है इमोशन से। अब मार्केटिंग नहीं, ब्रांड एक्सपीरियंस बनाइए। रविकांत के साथ आपकी सर्विस सिर्फ दिखेगी नहीं, महसूस भी होगी। नाम आपका, आवाज हमारी, पहचान बनेगी सबसे अलग आपकी। आज हम सिर्फ सर्विस नहीं देते, हम ब्रांड की पहचान बनाते हैं। वो विजन को आवाज मिलती है जब ब्रांड म्यूजिक से जुड़ता है। रविकांत के साथ हर कैंपेन मार्केट में अलग दिखता है। आज के समय में सिर्फ रिज्यूमे बनाना काफी नहीं है, जरूरी है कि लोग आपको समझें, आपकी स्किल्स को जानें और आपकी कहानी सुने। आज सोशल मीडिया पर जो दिखता है वही बिकता है। इसीलिए हम लाए हैं रिज्यूम एक्सप्लेनेशन वीडियो सर्विस, जहां आपका रिज्यूम ये प्रोफेशनल तरीके से ये आसान भाषा में समझाया जाता है। दिखावे से बनती है आपकी करियर रेपुटेशन और मजबूत होती है आपकी सोशल रेपुटेशन। जब आप अपना रिज्यूम वीडियो सोशल मीडिया पर शेयर करते हैं तो लोग आपको सिर्फ नाम से नहीं, आपकी काबिलियत से पहचानते हैं। क्योंकि आपकी पहचान मायने रखती है। क्योंकि आपकी पहचान मायने रखती है।